On June 4th, James Marriott, a columnist at the Times, tweeted something that kind of altered my brain. It led, unsurprisingly, to a very heated debate about AI. Here is that tweet. The first 3 paragraphs of a ChatGPT review of the Rachel papers by Martin Amis. Quite amazing. I think you could submit writing of this standard to a magazine and get published. Took 3 seconds. This feels like the setup to a joke, because when you actually read the ChatGPT review, it doesn't take long to A, tell that it's AI, B, realize it sucks, and C, learn almost nothing about its topic. In the replies, James Marriott backpedals a little bit when everyone pretty much unanimously says that it's hot garbage. Yo, this is a great example of what a bad writer's idea of good writing looks like. I don't think it's good writing, I'm just amazed at what ChatGPT has become capable of. It's much better than when I last tried it a few months ago. You just said, I think you could submit writing of this standard to a magazine and get published. You absolutely thought it was good writing. I don't think getting published in a magazine is necessarily the benchmark of good writing. And what's your point? Because it's not even close to bad writing that you'd see in a magazine. No one would print that without heavy editing. It doesn't even make sense. There are some people who seem to share James's amazement, though. It's the end game for creatives, so utterly depressing. What do we do instead? Yes, I feel very sad about it. Become a plumber or something? Okay, let's take a brief look at the writing in question, then I'll get to my point. This review of a book from 1973 has a lot of adjectives. It sounds very smart, but it really doesn't say anything. It's a clever, cold-blooded debut dressed in the anarchic tones of youth. It announced a talent not so much emerging as already armored. Usually when you say not so much emerging, what, it's already emerged? But already armored against what? What? Technically alert, linguistically omnivorous, and philosophically caustic. Throughout the review, it's just listing a lot of things with adjectives that sound smart. It just sounds extremely pretentious, like no one would print this because it sounds like a student trying to sound smart. Like, what does linguistically omnivorous mean? You eat a lot of books? The result is a prose style that feels both effervescent and effortful. Effervescent and effortful are just such different things, but because they sound or start similar, then I guess it's supposed to sound good. Charles's journal is filled with lexical excess, anatomical scrutiny, and relentless auto-analysis that verges on the clinical. So these 3 paragraphs, on the surface level, it sounds like smart words, smart writing. It doesn't build to anything. It's not even like making a claim. But really, this whole situation cracked open a broader question in my mind and sort of unlocked what has troubled me so much about AI in the past. The question is, who is this for? And I mean that on a commercial and on an artistic level. Like, what's the point of any of this? Anyone who's interested in a Martin Amis book from 1973 would find this review poorly written and have plenty of real reviews to choose from, or they'll already be biased against AI and avoid it anyways. Fans of AI and LLMs, learning language models, might be interested in the writing, but won't have any interest in what it's actually saying. Which again leads me to some broader questions. About a week ago, a clip went viral from UCLA's commencement ceremony of a student seemingly showing off that he used ChatGPT to complete his final assignment. As you'd expect, there was a lot of outrage. People saying his degree should be revoked, other people being like, what's the point of college anymore if you can just use ChatGPT? This is maybe the least surprising thing I've seen ever. For decades now, higher education has been disintegrating, costs inflating, the humanities eroded, the concept of education for education's sake a thing of the past. How quaint, right? None of this is surprising or new to anyone living in 2025. College is for getting a job. I graduated from UCLA in 2022, the same school as the ChatGPT kid here, and I see AI and its widespread use in academia as inevitable. In fact, I think it's the perfect escalation of what's come before. So the question in this instance of who is this for is pretty clear. It's for people who need to bullshit their work at 11:59 p.m. Something I used to proudly do without AI. A few months ago, California State University announced that ChatGPT EDU will be provided to all of their 23 campuses. All right, I mean, as long as it's free, I guess. $16.9 million. At least they'll have it forever. Over an 18-month period, at least they're doing well enough financially to afford all this. A $375 million budget cut that will result in larger class sizes, decreases in course offerings, and a reduction in faculty and staff positions. When teachers are teaching with ChatGPT and students are learning with ChatGPT, we can enter a frictionless wonderland in which universities can stop paying teachers, extract money from students, and ship those students off to a world that can't use them. Imagining this frictionless future is a useful exercise, I think, when grappling with that question of who is this for? Because to me, it seems like students are worse off, teachers are worse off, the university is worse off, but ChatGPT and all AI companies seem to be better off. They're making bank off of people who, A, genuinely love the technology and can find a use for it, and B, people who are too scared to be left behind. So much of the backlash to LLMs and AI is based in fear, but so is a lot of the praise. I've posted a lot of sketches on this channel, making fun of AI people, the whole craze, all of it. I'm sure my stance isn't surprising to any of you, but it's kind of telling that the battlefield isn't around genuinely useful uses of AI, especially in medicine, technical writing, I mean, you name it. There are plenty of great uses for LLMs. The battlefield is about art, writing, painting, filmmaking, acting. Art is the last thing corporations can't really do for you. We express our humanity when we make art, because in the utopian future for adopters of AI does everything, right? Except for certain manual labor, AI becomes the workforce so that us humans can do the fun human stuff and focus on making a better world. Yet, so many proud adopters of AI want it to do the fun stuff too. So again, I ask, who is this for? This whole question became unlocked for me when I discovered a certain YouTube channel. Let's call the channel Mr. Pee Poo Poo. First of all, I don't want anybody to be harassed inadvertently. Also, I don't want to give his ideas any more exposure than they already have. He's a relatively small channel devoted entirely to writing AI. Doesn't seem like a bad dude, just seems like someone with some bad ideas. Mr. Pee Poo Poo, I'm going to have to just stick with that now. He proudly teaches people how to write fiction with AI, the tools you need, the process. He writes his own fiction with the assistance of AI. He claims AI is just a tool, just like a pencil. You see, to him, writing by its very nature is algorithmic. Language is just an algorithm. Why not use AI to do the boring part of writing so you can focus on the fun stuff? What is the fun stuff for Mr. Pee Pee Poo Poo? World building. Crafting a big old world. We love world building. Who doesn't? And the boring stuff to him is the actual writing. He actually, in one video, he says that the least important part of writing is writing the first draft. I think most people would laugh at this, because I'd say like 99% of successful writers say that they labor over every single word. They love language, you know? It's like saying you love to paint, except for the part where you actually put paint on the canvas. And yet, Mr. Pee Pee Poo Poo's comments section is filled with grateful people. Truly grateful people who are passionate about writing that one book they've always wanted to write. Finally, to them, art is democratic. Anyone can fulfill their dream and make a few bucks. Mr. Pee Pee Poo Poo has addressed criticism of his outlook very sincerely, and so much of it resorts to the type of fear James Marriott has of AI. He believes this is the future of writing. Better to get with the program than to get left behind. In one video, he gets asked about the logical endpoint of using AI to write books. If, like he says, AI is constantly getting better until one day it will need very little input to create a brilliant work, then what is the use of writers? What is the use of the craft and job and fantasy that he sells to people that they can do? It's so interesting because he gets genuinely reflective in his answer. He looks kind of worried. He admits that yes, one day you can instantly make a book tailored exactly to your preferences, like with the stroke of a button. By his logic, in the future, there's no reason to seek out writing from other humans. You have all the books you could want, perfectly tailored to your own taste. Yet he still argues that people are going to want human connection. That's just natural. Humans want human connection. So instead of writing books, he says that humans will serve as brands. They will market their own AI slop to others. They'll have a platform, and all writers will simply be marketers, salesmen for their own flavor of AI slop. This is funny. Any published writer I've ever seen complains the most about having to market their own work. He's trying to be realistic about the future, but to me, this exchange is just making me optimistic. I don't think I've ever been more optimistic about the future role of art than I am lately, because it all returns us again to this question of who is this for? Who is this for? It's for Mr. Pee Pee Poo Poo. It's for people who want to make art but don't have the drive, who don't have the time, who don't want to pursue that. It's for people who want to make money off of writing a book, thinking a million other people don't also have the same idea. There is something in the air. I feel the change coming, a change in the way we relate to AI and specifically language learning models. John Oliver, just the other day, did a piece on AI slop, specifically video and pictures, and a big conclusion they came to is that AI slop is everywhere, because there are tons of people trying to make a profit off of making it. AI isn't for viewers, it's not for readers, it's for creators. The James Marriott AI experiment didn't impress anyone because no one of his audience, I imagine, wants to read that. The ChatGPT UCLA grad angered people because he's just cheating himself out of a good education. All right, my sincere prediction is that AI writing won't meaningfully impact art and human-driven writing. It will be sold as it is now as a means for people to fantasize about making money, or, as a fun little curiosity, a hobby for people to read their own book that they're too afraid to write themselves. Maybe I sound too optimistic here, but I believe art isn't going anywhere. It's the one place companies want to dominate, but they can't. Genuine human creativity is and will continue to resist this. When I see people watch a bad movie, usually one of the first things they say out of the theater is, it felt like the script was written by AI. We view art, we experience art, we go out of our way to engage with art because we want something new. We don't want something recycled. We're going to keep doing that. I've been discussing all of this without even touching on the ethics of this technology. That was deliberate on my part. I mean, you could go in any direction with this. The topic would have consumed this entire video. Regardless, science has faced similar ethical problems in the past, and I wonder if we can't look for examples in the 20th century. In Kevin McKay's feature-length documentary, 17 pages, he re-examines the legacy of one of the biggest scientific controversies of the 20th century. The ethics over a single biology paper, just 17 pages, permanently altered how scientific misconduct is investigated. It's a fascinating story and a brilliantly made documentary from the person you might know as Bobby Broccoli. This, along with a ton of other exclusive content from your favorite creators, is available on Nebula. Nebula is the largest creator-owned streaming platform in the world. It's where all your favorite creators like Big Joel, H Bomber Guy, Hello Future Me, create exciting new content. Nebula is growing fast as a streaming service. You can watch brilliant video essays and my 30-second shitpost. There's a ton of exciting original content being produced, from Jetlag to Abigail Thorne's Dracula's Ex-Girlfriend. Whenever I get a minute to relax, instead of browsing Netflix for hours, I pull up Nebula and I can usually find something great to watch in like 2 seconds. If you sign up using my link at go.nebula.tv/mancarryingthing or use the link below, you can get Nebula for 40% off, which is $36 a year or $3 a month. You can also get a monthly plan for $6 a month. And for those of you that want to share everything Nebula has to offer with your family and friends, Nebula is now offering monthly, annual, and lifetime gift cards. Use the link gift.nebula.tv/mancarryingthing to give a month of Nebula to a friend for just $6 a year for $36 or a lifetime membership for $300. Thank you for watching, and thank you as always for supporting the channel. Okay, bye-bye everyone.